Thank you for watching another edition of Fitness Friday. I'm Erica Fernandez, and today I'm here with Performance Locker owner and trainer Casey Stutzman. And today Casey is going to break down my least favorite exercise movement, which is the burpee.
It's not just your least favorite.
Tell me about it. Okay.
So the burpee makes its way into a lot of different fitness programs, and it's kind of viewed as a basic, simple exercise. But the reality is it's really, really, really complex. And when we do them, we do lots of them for conditioning. So it's really easy to break down and actually put undue stress on the body in areas we don't want undue stress. So what we're going to look at today is kind of the mechanics of it, and there's certain pieces of it that we want to be really, really, really good at before we start progressing to the whole movement. So the burpee is basically, or squat thrust as they've been called back in the day, is we start up nice and tall, we lower down, kick out into a plank, hit a full push-up, pop back up to a squat, extend up, and there's usually a jump at the top of the squat, and then we just roll down to the next rep. So very full body, a lot of strength, a lot of conditioning. There's a lot of great stuff going on there. But again, we just want to make sure that people have the pieces that they need and can get in the shapes, the proper shapes, in order to maintain good movement mechanics, good efficiency, and not hurt themselves.
Right. So what are some movements of the burpee that some people usually mess up or do wrong?
So the plank is the biggest part. So we want to make sure we can plank like a boss before we go on forward. So what does planking like a boss look like? So we're going to pop on down. Now from here, all I'm going to think about is when I find that position in that plank, my butt should be tight, my trunk should be braced, like someone's going to come over and kind of tickle you, and then I could screw my arms into the ground, so that way the eyes of the elbows are pointing forward. Now, you got a nice line here, right? We're tight in the hips, we're tight in the trunk, we're tight in the shoulders. That's great. So go ahead and relax. That's step number one, is we want to master that position. How good is that plank? And either have someone watch you, or look into a mirror and make sure we have that streamline. But big picture, can you squeeze the butt? Can you fill in, brace the trunk? And can you screw the arms in? If you do that, you create stability in the hips, the trunk, and the shoulders. Step two is squat position. So I should be able to, standing tall, with my toes forward, so not turning the toes out, lower down, and hold this position, maintaining a big fill out of the trunk. Now, see how the toes kind of flare out just a little bit? And that's not terrible. We want to look at where the knees are in line with the toes. Now you got pretty good position in the spine. Want to stay as upright as possible, and then see if you can get the knees out just a little bit more. There we go. Come on up.
All right.
So ideally, we want to keep the toes fairly forward and then wind the knees outside just a little bit to hold that position and drive up. So get super good at holding that. Now once we've got those two, we're going to see if we can transition. Okay, so come on down. We're going to start on the ground. And we're going to go into a press. So from here, I'm going to set my plank, and my goal is to press off the ground as one solid piece. I'm going to have you do that again for me. So now when I come up, I'm looking at shoulders and hips. They should come up together. Go ahead. Boom. So there should be no lag. If I notice, go ahead and relax, Erica, that the shoulders roll up before the hips roll up, that means I'm missing some stability. And that's the case. I'm putting a lot of tension on my lumbar spine. Now if you add that over 10, 15, 20 reps. With fatigue, it can really start to break down. We're resting on parts we don't want to rest on. So being able to do that is key. If I can't do that, then I don't want to jump headfirst into the burpees yet. So pressing off the ground, that straight, strict press. Second is once I've found that position, can I pop in and hold to that squat position and then come up nice and slow and smooth. So what we're going to see a lot is people kind of up nice and quick, or when we drive up, we have the hips above the shoulders and we roll up. And same thing, we're just putting a ton of stress in the lumbar. We're also loading the knees more than we need to. So when I'm in that plank position, driving up, and again, it's okay if the toes are out a little bit as long as the knees are a little bit outside the middle toes. So let's try that one. So coming up into that plank, boom. Now pop up and hold, boom. There we go. So we're going to find that. It's hard to stick that position, isn't it? So when we slow it down, we make you own that position and show how clean you can transition. Once you've got that down clean, then we're burpee ready.
All right, so our viewers should definitely make sure that they can plank like a boss, pop into that squat, and once those transition periods are good, then burpees are a go.
But even when you're doing it, when fatigue starts to set in, can you maintain those mechanics? And the big picture when we're talking about endurance stuff and conditioning, once my mechanics start to break down, shut it down. Because then all we're doing is adding stress to areas we don't want to stress.
So hopefully we're making smooth transitions and we can add all those burpees that we love to do into our workouts. All right, thank you so much for being here with me, Casey. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Fitness Friday. Stay tuned because sports is next with Eric Burpee.